Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the evening live session. It's Saturday, January 2nd, 5:51 p.m. in the Central Time Zone. We have about 9 minutes to go till the daily candle closes, and it was a wild day. From this morning when I woke up, we were somewhere around $30,500 or so, right? Somewhere around this area. And we trended up all the way to about $33,000, had a massive sell off all the way back to about $30,600 or so. And now we're back at 32,000. So this kind of volatility basically means that there are a lot of participants getting involved. And more importantly, these participants are getting involved with leverage. Now, the good thing about all this is the market being as efficient as it is in this kind of structure like this, it cleans up that leverage. Okay, it does a very good job at being efficient where it could trap people up here, but it can also squeeze out people who went long here and didn't take profits up here. Okay, the market is very efficient in that sense. Now, you're probably wondering where we are right now. What does that mean going forward? So I wrote up a tweet summarizing real quick of exactly my thoughts on the market. Okay. And I believe it goes something like this. Where we are in terms of range is this is probably our range high. If y'all remember, again, in the advantage side, I wrote up this update when we were over here. Okay, let me find this real quick. And I told y'all that, let's see here. So I said right here, price is being capped here temporarily around $33,130 until we get above here and close. We may chop around a bit more between the range of 33,100 and all the way down to 32,500. Now, 32,500 was right around this key low right here. Okay. What we did was we said, okay, we rejected right here. We broke this low right here, which should have been holding. So let me show you all exactly where that was. So that's right around this area right here. And we rejected this. So meaning we failed to get back and start trending up higher. And this failure just meant, us cascading of longs being liquidated on the way down, whether you're 50x, 100x. I mean, your stop got hit. Either you were leveraged long in 10x. So basically, everybody who got in from way the hell down here from earlier this morning got squeezed out by this. Now, this is a good thing for us because, as you guys very well know, we've been long for a while. We've been long since 25,225. We've added up and down around 26,000 or so. And so far, so good. We're sitting pretty good in our position. Now, in case, let's just say you were not able to participate and get long when we did around 25,225, what do we do from here going forward? Well, in my opinion, I think that we're probably going to be in this mini range right here, like I stated earlier. So let me see. That is my dog. So excuse me. But this is probably going to be the range right here that has developed. And I would probably say that unless we get above this 31,130, once again, that is the most important marker. Unless we get above that and we start trying to break through it and go higher, it's very likely that even from here, we can come back down to this marker or quite possibly this marker. Now, I stated in my tweet that I think it's very possible that we get back towards this area right here, which is 32,800 or so. And then we start rolling back down at least towards this. And maybe we start breaking up from here, or we head down here. And maybe we start breaking up from here, or we head down here or here. And then obviously I'm still looking for more upside. Like all in all, no matter where we land, whether it's this marker, or if we come back down here or down here, I still want to be long. This is not like, okay, this is the top and we need to sell everything. I don't think that has formed yet. Now, I've been pretty open and vocal about my thoughts on the Bitcoin market. And I've stated to the Advantage members that this is kind of my thought process on where I believe BTC is going. And it looks something like this, okay? So if y'all remember, I drew this on 28th of December, this chart right here. And we were somewhere around this area, somewhere around $26,000. And it stated that generally markets that have reflexive assets, markets that have big trending or parabolic movements coming in, they have trends that have different slopes to them. And you can typically define them into 3 or 4 angles. I have 3 defined right now. This is the first one right here. This is the second angle. And I believe we might be in the third right here. And the third phase is usually the most violent and vicious one because it really has it long side. In terms of the long side right here, Bitcoin does not allow people to get in so easily. Okay. Now, if you look at this very carefully, right, see this market right here, as we started trending up, as you could see, Bitcoin just continuously kept pushing higher and higher. And these are what we call running flags, right? I told you before, a running flag is, you have a pole like that and you have rising movement like this. Most of you are familiar with bull flags where you have movements like this and then a retrace down like this. The flag has this kind of movement and then it starts breaking out. Well, running flags or running parallel channel movements like this, where price just keeps trending higher and higher, just means that the price is aggressively bullish. Now, in this bullish movement, you don't really know if from here you're definitely going to break up and out, or you're going to, let's just say from here, maybe you retrace down a little bit more. But the fact that we just saw a massive breakout right here just tells me that we're likely going to keep pushing higher. Like today is let me see. So today's daily candle, all right, is a 9.58% gain, right? At the high, it was somewhere around 10.6 or 11.2 or something like that. But all in all, I mean, this is a pretty massive candle. Like for Bitcoin purposes, this is like adding, I think the market cap of Bitcoin is, let me see where's the Bitcoin market cap? Let me see, Bitcoin market cap. It's currently it's about 595 billion, right? So it's like adding almost 50 to 60 billion dollars when Bitcoin goes up 10% in one day. See, that's massive, And so when assets have this kinds of movement, okay, and when they're starting to trend up higher and higher and go into this parabolic phase, Bitcoin does not allow people to easily jump in because every movement that people are buying right here is continuously driving price. And as we very well know, all right, I posted this on my Twitter feed. There was a lot of outflows happening in Coinbase. So there's about 35,000 Bitcoin that left Coinbase. So this is, again, I spoke to Key. He's the CEO of CryptoQuant right here. And he also stated that this is most likely like big hedge fund deals, OTC deals, and institutional deals. It could be even a sovereign country, adding to their wealth fund. It could be, some other big entity like BlackRock, maybe getting some Bitcoin exposure. You never really know who's behind this kind of movement. But the point is that the movement happened and a lot of Bitcoin was taken off exchanges. Why is that bullish? Because the less Bitcoin that's on exchanges means that there's less sell pressure on the exchange to be able to dump that Bitcoin. If price starts to slide really fast, maybe those algos or the people who are behind all that buying activity, they're not going to be so easily inclined to sell that Bitcoin. So that just means that they have more than likely a higher price target in mind. That could be 40,000, 50,000, 100,000. I really don't know, right? But just know that for now, Bitcoin is in this hyper, parabolic like movement. And if it stays in this movement, I could see somewhere around $45,000 to $50,000 where that big blow off top might happen. Now you can identify this in a couple of ways, right? You could just simply put on pivots. So right now we have a pivot right here at R1, which is around 33,000, which we identified this morning. And then beyond that, we have a R2 pivot around 37,000. Above that, we have 44. And then above that, we have the R4 around $52,000. Okay, closer to 53 actually. So, if Bitcoin gets going in that parabolic movement, Well, this is going to be pretty darn easy to make its way up because the FOMO, the reflexivity of Bitcoin will drive up prices so high that I mean any person who tries to short it is going to get run over. Any person who's going to try to buy Bitcoin is going to instantly keep driving up the price. So it becomes a repetitive cycle, a feedback loop, if you will, that higher prices will keep begetting higher prices. Okay, so now that's Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin also, aside from that, we have dominance ticking up higher. Now, stated over and over again that it is way too early to keep calling for an alt season. And not only that, it's way too early to even recognize that 2020 has any similarities to what's happening, or rather, what's happened in 2017 when we had the alt season. Because if you guys remember in the alt season, Bitcoin topped at 20,000 and alts ran up, like for example, ETH ran up, from $850 to like $1,400 after Bitcoin topped. So you can see right here, I did this, and you can even check this out on our trading view. See, this is where Bitcoin topped, right? It topped at 20K mid-December and ETH topped around 850. But then Bitcoin dropped from 20K all the way down to like $9,500, and ETH rallied higher for a good month. See, in that same time span, if you look over here, the Bitcoin dominance when Bitcoin price top dropped a ton in that same time span. Almost went from about 71, 72 points or percentage to all the way down to about 36 to 40%. And that is when the big alt season happened. Now, personally, I think Bitcoin is probably going to keep pushing higher, more than likely. And I really don't know when, alt season, if you will, is going to start, if at all. But what we do know is the altcoins that we're in, if you're an Advantage member, you know which altcoins we're positioned in, right? It's an alt spot buy, the DeFi levers long channel, the altcoin levers long channel. And you can also check in the position updates right here. You know which altcoins we're in, and those are doing phenomenally well. But for now, Bitcoin is still king, and it's going to keep dominating the market until the market just goes full on, bananas to the upside. And then we just have a topping off period, an unwinding of spot, an unwinding of long positions. And then we have that rotation of money where more retail can FOMO into higher beta, higher risk assets like altcoins. That is my personal belief of how this is all going to play out. It's very possible that altcoins and some certain altcoins keep moving up with Bitcoin here and there. For example, ETH moved pretty much from $725 or so all the way to about $789, right? In the same time span, Bitcoin went from all the way to from 30,000 to about 33,000. So altcoins are technically moving up, but the memories that you may have of alt season just may not happen the same way, and they may not happen at all. They may just happen like what we're seeing right now. So I want you guys to be aware of situations like that. Okay. But by the way, again, make sure if you are an Advantage member, please check out the position updates and all the updates that I do put out. These are important updates, and they're meant for you to keep an eye on how I'm trading in the market, how I'm getting in and out of positions, how I'm also operating the 5K account, which you guys very well know right here. You guys could see live in the morning videos that I post how that 5K account is doing. And by the looks of what I checked last, that 5K account was about $5,200, $5,300. So, not bad, right? We're up about 5 to 6% already. Okay. And we were only started about 3-4 days ago. Okay. So anyway, I'm still looking for ETH to tap about $800 or so. I still believe that that's going to happen. I don't think that ETH, dumps before tapping $800. I personally believe that ETH will likely tap 800, but then I do believe that it may come back down to about 600, maybe 675 or something, maybe even this pivot, which is around $675, right? Let's check out how other altcoins are doing. Let's check out Litecoin. Litecoin is also doing really well. A couple weeks ago when I did this analysis on Litecoin, I told our members that as long as Litecoin stays above 108, it should be heading towards its next key weekly level, which is around $179. So if you're looking for, Litecoin to keep pressing up, or you're in a Litecoin position, I think it's possible that it, gets towards this target. Okay, so keep that in mind. XRP, I still think, XRP is a very bad sort of gamble. I think you can make much more money elsewhere. Do read my thread on Twitter about XRP and why you need to be careful, why you don't need to gamble on this thing pushing back up, because it's possible that it never does. It might go to zero, or it might come back to 40 cents, or it might just trade in a range for like 3 months. The point is, no one knows. But while no one knows, there are very important things happening in other aspects of the market, like Bitcoin, like ETH, where money is made a little bit easier because the trend is so strong. Okay, you don't have to do a whole lot of figuring out, if you will. Okay. What else can I cover? Are there any questions? Let's check out the indicators real quick while we're on here. I don't think the indicators are going to be helpful because we've just gone completely just bananas, parabolic, over the last several days. If you're looking for retraces, like, maybe you could keep this blue line in mind. Like, as it keeps trending up, maybe this comes to meet us around 30,500 or something in the next 24 to 72 hours. That's a possibility, in my opinion. Let's see, on the hourly perspective, let's see how the indicators are doing. So the hourly perspective, this is one thing that I noticed, right? When we saw the sell-off right here happen, say you were, looking at the 1 hour chart and you were looking for areas to get in during the sell-off. Guess what? We perfectly tagged this aqua line right here, which would have been a great area to get in. So, make sure, if you guys don't have access to this indicator, you can ask for 2-day free trials as Advantage members. We also still have a 40% off for Advantage members for the year. So instead of $1,000, it's only $600 for the entire year. And you get access to this indicator, the trend maker, and this one down here, which is the Shepherd indicator right here. Okay. All right. What else can I cover? When can we expect alt season? I think I just went over that, Joe. Again, I don't know if you joined late, but I just covered it. I really don't know, to be honest. I'm not going to bullshit you and say, all right, it's going to be, January 15th at midnight. Like, I don't know, right? We can only guesstimate of exactly how Bitcoin is trending, what the market is kind of showing us in terms of signs and signals. And clearly what's evident is Bitcoin is a very strongly trending asset. Bitcoin dominance keeps going up. And we really don't know which altcoins are going to be the true winners. Like, it's very possible that we don't have the same kind of alt season like we did in 2017. Maybe we have really great projects this time leading. Like, one of my favorite projects is YFI, right? YFI is something that I constantly kind of keep an eye on. I set alerts. I watch it closely. ETH is, of course, another project that I have my eye on, and I'm already long in ETH. You guys know that very well. We've been long in ETH since about 594, and we're up about a good 30% in that, right? There's other projects that I have my eye on. For example, Link is another one, right? Unfortunately, Link's been trending kind of shittily, and I don't know what to say. Maybe it doesn't do so well going forward. Maybe it goes back all the way down here to like $6 or $7 or $5. It first needs to get above $14 right here, or at least, this one right here, $16 to $17, and then it can start pushing up higher. Okay, but for now, do I want to enter Link the way it's looking right now? Hell no. There's way better opportunities elsewhere, right? The other projects I'm paying attention to, for example, DOT, we warned our Advantage members numerous times down here. I was in a DOT position from like 275. I sold around $5.50 to $6. Didn't really get back in. kind of missed out on that opportunity. But I told Advantage members multiple times that this looks like a reaccumulation range. Even beyond that, after it broke out and retested down here 3 times, I also stated this is another area you could consider getting in. I'm not going to explicitly tell you to buy, but it looked pretty obvious to me. So if you got into DOT from here, you're either up at least a good 100%, or even from here, you're good. You're up a good 60 to 70%. All in all, DOT is a great project. Dan Moorhead from Pantera Capital, which is a crypto hedge fund, is also a big fan of this project, right? I think Gavin Wood, who is one of the Ethereum co-founders, is the lead developer and co-founder of DOT. So it has a lot of great things going for it. And I believe that DOT will have its place in the future in the crypto space. If you're looking for levels to get in, I mean, it's gone up a lot, right? You'd be really surprised that it could actually just keep going up. When there's great projects out there, like I've said before, when markets are trending and they're very bullish, sometimes I wouldn't say you have to chase price, but sometimes you can't really wait for deeper retraces because you may not get it. You may have to buy here, but you can also buy here if it retraces, and maybe you can also buy here and down here if you really love the project. If you're just trading it, then this is kind of a shitty opportunity to get back in, right? Maybe you get in now, and maybe you have your stop below this low that we just had on the previous green candle, as y'all could see right there, right? So just below that pivot. Maybe that's where you can jump in as a trade, okay? But, if you're looking for DOT as a longer term hold, shoot, I mean, it's doing great, right? Like this is exactly what you want to see. Multi-day consolidations above the pivot, a nice swift movement going from 525 all the way to like $10 in a matter of 5 to 6 days. That's a strong trending asset. Okay. Let's see what else we got. What do you like about YFI? I think for YFI, like first of all, I like Andre, the creator, the lead dev on it. And I also think that it is the definer of what the DeFi space is. Like YFI in its essence is DeFi. I mean, technically Bitcoin is a true DeFi project, but YFI, if you guys get my drift, is the definer of what DeFi is supposed to be. So if DeFi is supposed to be something great and it's going to do well into the future, which again is something that I believe in too, as long as the crypto markets are still doing well, well then DeFi as a subsector in crypto should be the leader. And within DeFi, YFI should be the market leader. So, it's a great project all in all, but that's kind of how I'm looking at it from the DeFi perspective. Any interest in Algo? Let's check it out. Algo USD. Not the biggest fan of Algo because I kind of got burnt a couple times trading it. There's some projects, honestly, guys, you're going to get to realize in your trading career that there's certain projects that you trade really well, or certain stocks or certain bonds or certain currencies. And then there's other ones that you just don't trade that well. For example, in the FX space, I suck at trading, pound dollar, the pair. I just suck at it. I don't know why. It just burns me every time. Same thing with Algo. I just had really bad memories of trading Algo back here around like July or August. And honestly, I'm just not going to touch it often, right? Yeah, Elizabeth, same thing, right? She says she refuses to touch Algo. I don't know what it is, but her and I, maybe we have the same train of thought, which is we just don't trade it well, and that's okay. For example, another one, ADA. This is a project I generally don't trade well, right? And I even gave it a chance like a couple days back where I got in around 16.8, right, 0.168, and I got out around 0.177. Like I got out 4 or 5%. There's just something about these projects that sometimes when they break out, they just like fail their breakouts, and they do it often. And that catches me really off guard because when I see a breakout like I want follow through. I don't just want a piddly breakout, where you have movement like this and it pushes up and it just says, wait a second, I just lost my steam. Let me come back down here, retest this low, then maybe try again. I don't want that. Give me a nice breakout, retest, and then start trending up. And sometimes, Cardano, Algo don't do so well. So when it comes to Algo, right, not to get too far away from your question, but when it comes to Algo, I would really like Algo to get above this range high right here, because this is where it previously failed. See right there? It broke above this high, trended up here for a couple days, but then boom, failed. Came back all the way to range low. See, if you're looking to get into Algo, there's a few things you can do. You can go long right now, and you have your stop right here. And that's a pretty deep stop. That's like a 50% stop. Maybe you might get lucky having your stop right here. But again, like I just said, sometimes projects like this, they're just weird. They just trade really funky, and they might do something like this, and they may come back down here again, take you out of your position, and then go up like 3 months later. But if I were looking for getting into Algo as a long position, I would want Algo to show me like it could break, hold this breakout, and start pushing up, and I might get in a little bit on the retest. I might even get in on the breakout right here or above this high right here. Sometimes it's okay to pay higher prices for clarity and confidence in the trend, because then you don't have to worry about waking up in the middle of the night and thinking that Algo is going to fail its breakout and come back inside the range and squeeze you out of your position, right? So I like that kind of security and confidence when I trade assets. What do you think about Doge? I'm a little late. Sorry if you covered it already. I didn't cover Doge. I'll cover that in a second. So let's check out Doge. I really don't trade Doge, so excuse, whatever I'm going to cover now. Let's see. I don't even know what to say. Like, it's gone up a lot, and it might keep going up. It's very hard to say things about projects like this, because when they go parabolic like this, like, yeah, it's gone parabolic. Like, I don't know what it's going to do after. It can just keep going up. It might just get dumped hard. I've never really traded Doge all that much. Maybe like, here and there in 2018-ish. But yeah, I mean, I guess you could say that, let's see, what do we have? Like, there's not even history up here. Like, this was pretty much the high of Doge back in 2018, but that's it, right? So it's gotten its breakout. Maybe you get a retest at this previous high, which was around 0.0069 or 0.0070, and that could be your long opportunity, right? Maybe you have one of those crazy weeks where next week you have a pretty crazy candle spike right here, and that could be your long entry, and then you just kind of ride it up. Maybe it goes higher, or maybe it goes back to this previous high. So yeah, I'm sorry, I really don't know much about Doge. SNX, yes. So SNX is something that I've been following for a little while. I've been, I think, at least mentioning SNX, at least like once every couple of weeks. And the thing about this project is, again, this falls into the border of, like, in my opinion, NFTs and DeFi. And this is, again, fundamentals, right? But when it comes to technicals, this is a pretty nice developing ascending triangle. Okay, you just want to see price break above this key high, which is around 850, and hold if you want a nice breakout right here. And this could be your entry point, or you can enter above this key high when price gets above that marker. Okay, but it's also okay if you want to go long now, and if it comes down here, you can add to your position. If it comes down here, you can add, or if it goes up here, you can also add. But SNX is definitely a project that I've been following, in terms of technicals. I don't know that much about the fundamentals, I'll be honest. But I feel like if this thing is going to run, it's going to run alongside the big winners of NFTs and the DeFi space. And when it runs, it's going to run hard. Okay, so at minimum, if I'm looking for targets on SNX, right? Let's look at targets. I mean, it's not a whole lot of history, but R1 would be the first one, somewhere around this key high. So around $12 and some change. And then obviously, R2, which would be the $16 high. But even if we do, say a fib retrace, right? So this was the high, that was a low. And then the fib extensions take us to 1.618, which is around $17. 2.0 extension is around 1945. You got some decent movement that SNX may have pent up once it gets going. Okay. But once again, the one thing that I will warn you guys about is the worst thing to do is jump into altcoins too early and watch them bleed some more for like another week, 2 weeks, 1 month, and watch Bitcoin go to 34,000, 40,000, 50,000. So don't be in a rush to just think that you have to get in early in alt season. Okay. I've told you all this many times, right? You should not be focusing on price that much, rather on the value and importance of the technicals. Like, how good does the technical setup look? Now, SNX, does it matter if this is $8 or 80 cents or $80? Not really. I mean, it's going to have the same pattern, right? Now, if you're doing fundamental analysis, then obviously, you can say, all right, well, the market cap is too high and, maybe it's gone up too much. That's fine. But when it comes to strictly looking at this pattern in this chart is the same thing if it's $8, 8 cents, $800, right? You're just looking for a breakout to the upside, or this triangle to give you another tap down here, or price to get above this pivot and hold, and those are your triggers. That's it. You just got to keep it simple sometimes like that. Okay. So if you're following SNX, you should be looking for a breakout out of the triangle, or you can get in long now and you can add, on the way down if you believe that this triangle is going to break out. But once again, don't think that you are going to jump into alt season early because you believe that it's coming soon, because we really don't know when it's going to come, if at all. And we don't even know if SNX will be the one, altcoin that will do tremendously well. It might be ETH. It might be Link. It might be something else. So this is why you need to have money set aside, capital set aside, so you can jump in and out of positions, or you can be properly positioned for the alt season. And of course, do your own due diligence, right? If you know that, Polkadot is a project that you want to get into, and you believe that at a market cap of 8.2 billion, Polkadot is undervalued, then $9 for you should be, a great buying opportunity. If another person believes that, Polkadot will probably come down further and might drop 20%, well, then that's also something that you can do, right? What else we got? Let's see here. Yeah, so synthetics is an index, but the point I was trying to make is like it falls, in the category of being able to trade some of these projects kind of like you would say, I don't know, on Uni or Sushi. So don't get me wrong, like this is not like a Theta project, or this is not like a Wi-Fi project. I just meant that it borders between those two sectors, if you will. What are your thoughts on some of these BTC mining stocks? Riot, they seem to be one of the best crypto institutional playground investments you can make right now. Do you see any good entries in these? I really don't trade these projects a whole lot. I mean, I have my GBTC, but that's really it. Let's check out Mara, right? Like, let's see. Some of these projects have gone up a whole lot, and yeah, maybe they could keep going higher. I really don't know. You can make the argument that, right around this area where price had the previous SR level, maybe price comes back here and then it bounces off. So that's around $8.65. And this is, again, Marathon Patent Group. It has blockchain exposure. Let's check out Bitwise. So this is another index, right? It's kind of like an ETF. I don't know if people have, I think this is like a Galaxy Digital ETF. So I don't know if you can actually get into this, or you have to be like a accredited investor. This looks like a nice consolidation in Galaxy, right? Or I'm sorry, in Bitwise. Let me see here. GBTC very nicely trending up, as y'all can see. But again, GBTC was closed on Friday, I'm pretty sure. So we haven't really had any movement in GBTC. GDLC, that's another one, right? Large cap fund, another one you guys can consider getting into if you're just wanting some, stock exposure. You can get in now, or you can wait for price to come towards, this kind of trend line right here. Turn off these. Let's see, another area you could consider. Let's see. Right, you can do something like this. If price gets above this marker, which is 27.50, that might be an area you can jump in. ARK. So this is one of my favorite ETFs, and I'm a huge, fan of ARK Invest. I own ARK, which is this ARK KK. This is the innovation ETF. I own the ARK G ETF, which is a genomics ETF. If you want blockchain exposure, but also exposure to other things like Tesla or electric vehicles, this is probably the ETF that you want to focus on, right? So yeah, those are my thoughts on potential areas of opportunity. Again, not investment advice. All right, let's check out Rune. Okay. Yeah, obviously Rune has been really choppy, right, for the last several days. I don't know. I mean, this makes sense because like Rune is going to try to figure out, like other altcoins, when it can break out, when BTC calms down, right? So when BTC gets in a range, well, then that is probably the time where Rune starts to break out. So you still need Rune to get above $1.41, which is around this range high, to get back in. Okay. You could get in now as well, but I really don't know where the hell this thing's going. Maybe it even sweeps this low right here and then goes down further and then pushes back up. But yeah, getting into Rune, it's one of those things where you take your shot and you hope that it goes up. If it doesn't, you get invalidated on your stop. That's it. Because Bitcoin can ruin parties any day, right? Bitcoin, again, is the place where money flow is fastly going into. It ain't other altcoins. You might have sporadic breakouts like you did with DOT and, these other altcoins that go up 30, 40, 50%. But that's, you can't really always pick lotto tickets like that all the time, right? You might get lucky, but it's just very hard to trade those. So I tend to kind of keep my position size small. And if you're great at trading those, kudos to you, right? Because I'm not, and I'm not gonna lie to you and say, all right, I'm gonna experiment with Uniswap coins and let's see how it goes. I know what I'm good at and I know what I'm not good at, and that's okay. Let me see here. What else we got? So yeah, with Rune, I still do believe that the daily breakout is intact. Right, we broke out above this trend line. We're still holding up nicely. We had a big bullish engulfing with this green candle. We tagged the R1 level multiple times. I still have my position. I don't think I'm going to let go of Rune, excuse me. But yeah, we probably need to get above R1, like 137, 135, this area up here. And then we can start pushing towards, at least is 1.618 fib. That's where I have my eye, like $2 or so. I think Rune can hit it, All right, BTC is moving once again. Once more, I do believe that we're going to tag this level right here, which is the previous breakdown. And then from there, it's anyone's guess, right? I really don't know which way it's going to go. As you can see, I had price going up to this marker, which is around $32,800. From there, then we get to figure out, okay, what are the sellers going to do? Are they going to, hold their levels right here, crush price down here or down further, or the buyer is just going to squeeze through everyone and just rip right through? and we start heading towards 35,000 or something like tomorrow. You know, it's very possible, because the thing about Bitcoin is when it has big up days, I mean, it really doesn't give people opportunities to jump back in on the following day either, right? Unless it's like having a big period of consolidation like this. But then, you know, if you got in right here, okay, you're not going to get, you know, that big of a retrace down. Bitcoin does a great job over the last several months. Once it gets going, it has a nice, you know, running consolidation or a very, you know, tight retrace around 25, 30%, and then it just breaks out again. And so it's very possible that we do that once more, where maybe we just range up here and then push back out. Anything else? Okay. Well, that's it, folks. I just wanted to keep this short and sweet. I hope this analysis was helpful. Y'all take care. Again, make sure y'all read the 5K account stuff if you are an Advantage member. This is, if you're not familiar with this, this is our $5,000 account, and all the positions I take, the trades I make, stops, target profits, everything that I'm going to do and thinking about doing is going to be posted here. And we have, you know, pretty much a daily or maybe at least a couple times a week, I'll have a running update on how that account is doing. And so at present moment, it's at, let me see where our account value is, right? I think I said, you know, $5,200, $5,300 or so. But yeah, doing okay. All right. Y'all take care. That's it. And I will catch up with you soon. All right. Cheers. Happy trading.